Hello friends, welcome to Uncanny Stories. Tonight, we're diving into some of the most chilling and unnerving encounters, realistic horror stories that will make you think twice about what's lurking in the dark. From strange figures in the woods to terrifying secrets hidden in old houses, these tales will leave you unsettled. So turn off the lights, get comfortable, and let's begin. I used to work at a secret research facility in 2003. We were told never to talk about the wildlife interference. One night, an alert came through. Containment breach, non-human interference. I rushed to Lab 3. Inside was a deer, but something was wrong. Its movements were unnatural, its eyes milky white. The scientists were panicking, whispering about it interacting with the matrix. Then, the lights flickered. A deep, unnatural hum filled the air. The deer shifted, warping, glitching, like it was being pulled apart and rebuilt at the same time. I saw patterns inside it, things that shouldn't exist. Then, it snapped its head toward me so fast, I heard its neck crack. And then, it was gone. No sound, no trace. The lab was shut down. The researchers vanished. No explanations. But even now, I dream about that deer and the way it seemed to know what I was thinking. Ever since I moved into my old house, something felt off. The basement was always cold, even in the summer, and the walls looked uneven, like they'd been patched up. I ignored it, until one day, while moving an old shelf, I knocked on the wall. Hollow. I searched and found a loose panel. Behind it, a hidden door with a rusted keyhole. Days later, I found an old key wrapped in paper inside a kitchen drawer. It fit perfectly. The door creaked open to reveal a tiny, forgotten room. The air was thick with dust and rot. Strange symbols covered the walls. In the center, a wooden chair faced the wall. Next to it, an old notebook filled with names and dates. The last entry, just 3 years ago. Then I saw the Polaroid taped to the wall. It showed the chair, but it wasn't empty. Someone was sitting in it. It was me. I slammed the door and locked it, but since then, things have been wrong. I hear footsteps at night. Objects aren't where I left them. My phone screen lights up with no notifications, and every time I pass the basement door, I feel like something's waiting. I don't know if I should open that door again, or get out while I still can. I rented the cabin because I needed a break from everything. Work, people, the noise of the city. A week alone in the woods sounded perfect. No neighbors, no distractions, just me and the quiet. The first 2 nights were peaceful. I spent my days hiking and reading by the fireplace, and at night I let the sounds of the forest lull me to sleep. But on the 3rd night, I woke up suddenly, feeling off, like something had disturbed my sleep. That's when I saw it. A face, pressed against the window, looking in. My heart slammed against my ribs. The figure stood completely still, skin too pale, eyes too wide, just watching. I stared for what felt like forever, frozen in place. I was too terrified to move, to breathe, to even blink. Then, I reached for the lamp and flicked it on. The second the light filled the room, my stomach dropped. The face didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't blink. It was as if I was staring at a mask, but the longer I looked, the more I could tell it wasn't. The skin looked too real, the eyes too aware. My breath caught in my throat. Slowly, I stood up, heart pounding in my ears. I had to do something. I couldn't just sit there. I grabbed the nearest thing I could, a fireplace poker, and with every ounce of courage I had, I stepped toward the door. My hands shook as I reached for the handle. I counted to 3, tore the door open, and nothing. The air outside was freezing. My breath clouded in front of me as I searched the empty porch. No footprints in the dirt, no sign that anyone had been there at all. But something felt wrong. The uneasy, crawling sensation that something was still watching me made my skin prickle. I stepped further onto the porch, shining my flashlight toward the trees. Then I saw them, footprints. Not in the dirt, on the wooden porch, like something had been standing there for hours, pressing down just enough to leave faint imprints in the wood. I locked the door and didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I searched the property. Nothing was out of place. No footprints in the surrounding dirt. No signs of anyone walking up the road. But when I checked the window, the one the face had been staring through, my stomach twisted. There was a handprint on the glass, not on the outside, on the inside. I stared at the handprint, too long, too narrow to be mine. A creak sounded from the bedroom. My stomach dropped. The door, which had been open, was slowly closing. Someone was in there. I bolted. No packing, no checking. I just ran to my car and sped off. At a gas station miles away, I checked my phone. I had taken a picture of the footprints on the porch, but as I zoomed in, my breath caught. A figure stood in the trees, watching. Its shape was wrong, limbs too long, head tilted at an unnatural angle. The longer I stared, the more distorted it seemed, like it was shifting, unraveling. I didn't waste another second. I bolted from the gas station, not looking back until I reached the highway. But when I finally dared to glance in the rearview mirror, I saw it, the figure, crawling in the woods. I didn't stop driving until dawn. When I finally pulled over at a rest area, my hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn off the engine. I thought about calling the police, but who would believe me? That's when I checked my phone again. The last photo was still there, but now the figure was no longer in the trees. I was so tired that night. I barely remember lying down, sinking into the mattress as exhaustion pulled me under. The silence of my room was comforting, the kind that made sleep come easily. But then, a scream. A deafening, rage-filled howl exploded right in my ear, so loud it felt like my skull was splitting apart. I shot up, gasping, my heart hammering so hard it hurt. My hands trembled as I reached for the lamp, flicking it on in a panic. The room was empty. The door was still locked, the windows shut, but I wasn't alone. I could still feel it, the lingering warmth of breath against my skin. My eyes darted around, scanning every shadow, every darkened corner, but nothing was there, nothing I could see. My mind screamed at me to move, to run, but where? There was no one in the room, no sign that anything had ever been there. And yet, I knew. Something had been right next to me, close enough to scream into my ear, close enough to still be watching. And that's it. for tonight's terrifying tales. If you enjoyed these spine-chilling stories, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new upload. Have you ever experienced something unsettling? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes open. You never know what's lurking in the dark.